The Keystone Elk Country Alliance, combining an entertaining and educational experience with family fun. The leader in conservation education, improving habitat projects for elk and other wildlife in Pennsylvania's elk country. In the heart of the Pennsylvania wilds, the Keystone Elk Country Alliance, located at the Elk Country Visitor Center. To learn more, visit experienceelkcountry.com.
Here hunting in Elk County, and first day started just like we would any other hunt, where Ernie thought we should set up. Went up on top of the ridge here, and of course the gobbles we heard were across the way, so we moved to them and no luck. You know, you make your move, you try to do what you got to do, and that's what we tried. We moved over to towards the birds. Well, today was the day. Set up in a blind, and we started off where we hadn't started before, and that was down here low.
Welcome to Tom Bob Outdoors, Friends in Wild Places Adventure Series. We invite you to share in a lifestyle of adventure as Tom Bob Outdoors journeys across North America and some of the most gripping escapades you've ever seen as we witness dreams becoming reality. Right here on Tom Bob Outdoors, Friends in Wild Places.
On today's show, we take you to northern Pennsylvania for the 10th anniversary Crabtree Rohrbaugh Associates Spring Gobbler Hunt. Now, Crabtree Rohrbaugh Associates, or CRA, is an architectural firm that is located in south central Pennsylvania, down around the Chambersburg area. And Doug Rohrbaugh, he's a founding principal. I had an opportunity this past spring to video and call for Doug, and let me tell you what a great time that was. In previous years, I had the opportunity to hunt with Brian Haynes. Now, Brian, he's a director of Crabtree Rohrbaugh Associates, and he is also the organizer of this annual turkey hunt. Now, Brian wanted to find a way to show his appreciation and to say thanks to all of his friends that has been involved with him throughout the years. So this year, Brad Ocker, a principal of an area high school down around the Chambersburg area, gets to hunt with Brian. And his caller and guide is Ernie Bertolacio. Now, Ernie, I met him a while ago at the National Wild Turkey Federation banquet held in St. Mary's that was hosted by the Wapiti Roost chapter. And let me tell you something. This guy is no slouch when it comes to the turkey woods. He knows his stuff. So this year, Brad has the opportunity to do something not many spring gobbler hunters can honestly say they ever did in their whole entire spring gobbler hunting career. So why don't you just watch and see what Brad does? I'm Matt Nicholas, and you're hunting with Friends in Wild Places.
4 gobblers to our rear. Just keep hammering after one another. The birds are chirping up here on top of the ridge. We're just waiting. See what happens here once they fly out of the tree. Got 2 decoys set up behind us. The one thing we may have to do is reposition this morning.
Let's pick up the hunt with Brian as we try to move in on these unsuspecting gobblers.
Right there on that hill.
Really glad you guys came here. Enjoy the farm. This is actually, as we were talking, a 3rd generation farm. Over the years, we acquired a little bit more property, went from 200 acres to 4, and then to 5, and now over 6. And then one of the pieces of property that we were on yesterday really wasn't ours, but I have an agreement with them that we have exclusive rights to it. They don't hunt turkey, so I'm the only one allowed on it, which makes it really nice. So we could walk until our boots would wear out and really never get off of our private property. So it gave us a lot of opportunity.
Problem 780. people of continuous metal technology.
Yo, working with the folks at Ballistic Products.
They do all kinds of checks to make sure ITX is the best product.
And then they rely on us to do the final check.
Ground check.
Yes, sir. Having fun with Tom Bob Outdoors.
I think we're moving closer. Seems to be hauled up right up at the point. I don't know if he's heading up or what, but he just seems to stay in the same spot, probably strutting back and forth. Because he seems to get closer, then he seems further away. So my guess is he's strutting back and forth. So we're gonna move closer and set up.
As the guys continue to work their call for a reaction from the gobbler, let's check in with the hunters.
Well, it's almost 8 o'clock. We've heard a few jakes down over the corner here, but we heard one single gobble up here, further up over the ridge, so we're going to head up over the ridge and see what we can do. Still plenty of hunting to go for the day, good 4 hours, so weather is getting warmer, nice and quiet, so we've been seeing a lot of bull elk up and moving around, but we're still looking for the big turkey dinner.
End of day one, 10th annual CRA Spring Gobbler Hunt. Had a little bit of action in the morning, I guess, but no real opportunities, I don't think.
No, you're right. We heard 4 birds right off the bat. Around 7:30, somebody pushed the mute button, and we set up numerous times. Ernie here moved us around this mountain in various ways, up and down hills, got us set up in an area we hadn't heard anything, and then all of a sudden, next thing we know, and coming from the back, here was 2 hens clucking to Ernie's calls.
Yeah, 10 feet away, right behind me. I looked back, I saw the tail of the gobbler that was trailing them, but for some reason I just wouldn't take those extra 15, 20 steps that we needed, so that was the end of it.
Well, no doubt about it, there's plenty of birds here. I think every other footstep that I took today, there was a turkey scratch. So
Beautiful piece of ground.
Ernie's done a great job managing the property. He's looking forward to day 2 and discussing our game plan for Tuesday morning. Came back here Tuesday, opposite game plan. We thought, well, if we heard them here on Monday, why not we start there? So that's where we started, up the hill here on Monday, and lo and behold, started raining on us a little bit, and the gobblers were on the other side. So, what do you know? And continued throughout the day, and it wasn't until about 10 o'clock we heard 3 gobbles, didn't we?
Yep.
And started walking down the path, getting ourselves in line and position, and boy, if we'd, just like any other hunter, you just stop and don't take those next few steps, things always get real interesting. But what did we do? We took those 5 extra steps, too many.
I was already set up.
Yeah, you were set up, and Ernie and I were getting a good location, and boy, we looked up and there they were, 50 yards from us, three long beards. So that pretty much concluded Tuesday for us. But
the action never stops with Tom Bob Outdoors, Friends in Wild Places.
as the cat and mouse game begins with the turkey. Let's check in with our hunters.
We've heard those birds down low. We've heard them up high. Why don't we start down low? Because that's the only place we haven't tried yet. So that's what we did. Set up a blind this morning. And again, heard gobbles over here on the ridge. We're sitting there holding tight thinking this is going to be our day. And boy, who'd have thought it? A little bit after 6 o'clock, we just saw our first bird. Saw our first bird come out of the woodwork up here and thought it was a hen. Contemplated a little bit what it was once it started walking, because boy, it has a nice 8-inch beard on it. And you know, what an honor to be up here with CRA, and all of a sudden there's the bird, and I shoot the bird, and heck, it's a long-beard hen. I mean, there are hunters who've hunted for years.
Absolutely, I've hunted all my life, never killed one.
Never killed one, and here I am, you know, I'm still a middle-aged young guy, and I got my first long-bearded hen. Yeah, let's check this thing out. Boy, she didn't move, did she?
No.
Goodness gracious. Down she went. Look at that. Bearded hen.
Very unique. Very unique.
Heck yeah. Nice little bearded hen. So the only thing I'm missing is, where are the spurs? But hey,
Some spurs, dude.
anytime you can get a bird like this, especially, shoot, it's not even 6:30 yet. It's around 6:20, something like that. Good deal. Yeah.
That's about an 8-inch beard. It's a long beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen a bearded hen with one that long. Normally they're half of that.
Boy, I hit her good, didn't I?
Oh, yeah, you did.
Good deal. Good job. Way to go, Ernie. Way to go, Brian.
It was hard work, but
I'm telling you, let's go get Brian now, a bird.
let's do it.
All right.
You care.
All right. Good deal. Here we go. That's right. We got a story to tell. It's interesting how we second guessed ourselves, and boy, she started walking and picking up the pace, and that old 8-inch beard was really flopping back and forth, and so we took the shot, and down she went. We smoked ourselves a real nice
absolutely.
hen.
43 yards is what you
43 yards, 43-yard
said?
shot.
Good shot. Yep.
So that was our morning, but boy, it got even more exciting after that, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Yes, it did.
Got so exciting we had to break the binoculars out, Brian.
Exactly.
How many birds did we count there, Brian?
There were 13 total. It was a half an hour later, and we were looking up across the hill and saw them ducking off the hill, and said, you know what, here they come. We might get another chance here. It was only half an hour after you shot. You shot at what, 6:28, I think it was.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
half an hour later, we see these birds coming across the side of the hill, and they came out from behind the farmhouse up here, and then 1, 2, 3, and before you know it, we saw 13 birds, 9 of which were gobblers. So that was pretty neat. But unfortunately, every one of them was a jake. So 9 jakes and what, 4 or 5?
4 or 5
I guess
hens?
4 hens, and they hung around for the better part of an hour, just in feeding and just picking in the grass, and it was really pretty cool, actually. So.
Well, you know, and Ernie, if you're ever going to forget your turkey calls, today would have been the day.
Absolutely.
Because, wow, that bird came in this morning. We didn't even have to make any calls.
Nothing. I made 2 calls all day.
2 calls all day. And bird down, and we had, what'd you say, 13 other birds in front of us. So, wow, what a day. What a hunt. It's been a great 3 days.
When it's time to perform, don't waste your opportunity. We are the science of performance. You won't truly understand ammo until you start making your own. Ballistic Products, the science of performance.
Wow, what a hunt! Now let's take a trip to the backwoods of western Pennsylvania with Mike Whitman and see how some down-home maple syrup is made.
It's been going on 30 years. My grandfather cooked, my father cooked. Now I'm doing it, 3rd generation.
Oh, that's cool.
They used to cook back in the woods, brick fireplace, flat pan. And that's basically how we started, and as years go on, we graduated up to bigger and fancier equipment. This is a farm I grew up on. My father, grandfather, and his father. I'm the 4th generation.
You guys get a lot of turkeys back in here?
Surprisingly, not a whole lot.
No.
Instead of using a bucket system, it's a tubing system, which is a godsend. You know, if you're knee deep in snow or mud, definitely want to collect out of one collection spot instead of buckets through the woods. And it's just a series of 5/16 lateral tubing. This is lateral tubing coming from the tree into a main line. This is a 1/2-inch main line. Then that 1/2-inch main line is going to dump into a 3/4 main line. All we have 7-8 miles of tubing throughout this sugar bush and a couple other ones.
Texas tea. Almost.
Yeah. Nectar of the gods, we call it.
You just dump that in the engine then, or the motor?
Yeah, into the pump here. This is a raw sap. This is raw sap that's coming in off the trees.
Okay.
Around 2% sugar on average.
Right.
And we're pumping it into here to another filter. This is our holding tank. And it's going into the evaporator just on a gravity feed. And here you see us float. This float will keep the sap at a constant level in here. Because what's inside this evaporator are these baffles, welded baffles. And what it does is increases the surface, firing surface, heating surface. And if this sap would get below those baffles, it'll melt your weld and ruin your pan.
Okay.
So this float will keep these two pans at a constant level. You can evaporate around 35 gallons of sap an hour. Going through here. And then from here, it's going into here at about, it's going from 2% sugar, coming in here at about average around 8 to 10% sugar. So it's concentrated now. And it's going to go through these series chambers.
Okay.
And it just snakes its way around here. And as it goes through each chamber, it's getting more dense. That's what pushes this syrup.
Okay. What do you say by dense? You mean just getting thicker?
It's getting thicker.
Okay.
And then over here, this is where we're going to draw off. And when I start out today, I'll take this off, put this in a pan of boiling water. And you set the gauge when it's in there boiling on 0. That's the boiling point of water.
Okay.
And then syrup is 7 degrees above the boiling point of water. So when this needle hits 7, you know you have syrup, and you draw a pan off. Actually, we call this the cook shack. This is a sugar shack. This is where we do a lot of, well, when we draw off like a pan of syrup, it'll go into these containers. This is all done syrup. Probably burn 4, 5, maybe 6 cords of wood.
Oh yeah.
For the season.
How many gallons do you think you come up with?
So far we have 55 gallons made. I think by the end of the season, which might end this next week, is probably end up with 80 gallons. Wow. 80 to 100 gallons.
Oh, you have to keep that at a certain temperature after it's made, or?
No, after it's made, you can store it anyway, you know, just store it in a cool place. A lot of guys might freeze it.
Now that we have seen some of the secrets of making maple syrup, let's check in with Tim Smith for this week's Tech Tip.
I'm often asked, having developed 3 different types of high-density shot, what's the big difference between traditional lead steel shot and the high-performance, high-density shots that are out in the market today? Well, one thing I did was I made up some graphs to try and illustrate this, make my point a little bit better. You know, the first graph we're going to show you here is about velocity from muzzle down to 50 yards. And what we have here is you'll see that there's trailing off, that the higher density, the ITX Extreme, maintains its velocity a little bit better than both steel and lead, but the difference doesn't seem to really be that big right now. But now we'll take a look at the second chart, where we're talking about lethality. Now, generally speaking, lethality for a turkey is seen at about delivering 2.5 foot-pounds down energy. Now, because of the energy equation, as you see here, is mass times the velocity squared, velocity has a much larger role than just that small difference you see on just the velocity graph. So you see the downrange energy delivered between the 3 different shot types is dramatic. So what we're looking here at, steel shot, all things being equal, size and muzzle velocity, only has a lethality for a turkey out to about 15 yards. Now, the same muzzle and velocity lead shot, you're looking out to about 35 yards. Now, if you take a look at the graph, the ITX Extreme, a much higher density, harder hitting shot, has a lethality all the way out to 50 yards with a number 6 shot. Never would you ever believe that before with a lead shot, and especially not steel. Now, one thing, you always have to pattern all your shots to make sure that you've got enough BBs on target. It's not about the size of the load. It's not about how hard it's going to hit. If you don't put any pellets on the head, you're not going to kill the turkey. For these tips and more, go to www.tomboboutdoors.com or wait for the next episode.
Where are them boys? That fish ain't gonna wait forever. Jeepers.
Continuous Metal Technology, a leader in quality metal component parts. Why continuous metal? Because we offer the most consistent and repeatable production method available today. Because our engineering and design team can take you through the development and manufacturing process that will render a cost-effective and reliable component part. The question then changes from why continuous metal to why not continuous metal. Give us a call or check us out on the web.